Dear Prime Minister, dear members of the Jashari family, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, as Professor Gerber said, it's an enormous honor for us to be here, and it's very difficult to actually speak after so touching words and so important words have been addressed here today. We will confine what we are saying to the design that we are proposing as the entry of the competition, and also the curatorial and conservationist aspects to this project. Allow me, this is the current situation as you know it now, and we have revisited the entire design with all its elements, and this is how we envisage it now that it shall become. And you see, I don't know if I can find, you see we have created an arch embedded in the landscape, pushing towards the hill. At its pitch of the arch are the tombs of the family. They are untouched, they are in the position as they are now. If we create that protecting gesture around it and also inviting gesture so that the visitors can walk and approach that pivotal today and in earlier discussions, really nation building location and event, and it should be that not only today, it should be that for the future. And so we need to design very carefully the place that we see as it is today. You see here the main components, the memorial complex here in the center, and the houses of resistance of the Jashari family here in A1 and top right. I'm sure all of you have been on that site more often than we have. The path to the watchtower and the entire site of the ammunition factory. We have started to phrase a manifesto, and I believe as we move on in the project, we will further distill what this memorial is really about, and with your help, we will be very able to do that, I believe. So a memorial landscape that tells the history of Kosovo's resistance and tells the history to everyone, not only the Kosovars, not only they are like lanterns, like light beacons that put the focal point to this place. So the houses of the resistance, as we see them now with their protecting scaffolding from 1998, as we understand, and those houses that were in front already at that time entirely destroyed. What we want to do here is we want to obviously preserve them, but we also want to give them with this preservation casing, putting them almost in a shrine, with full transparency at eye level where the visitors come, so we can see and go very close and see everything as much as we can bear seeing. But the encasing is much bigger than the houses. So there's also this notion of it is much bigger than the actual houses. And we heard
different moments you'll be able to look out over the entire site and get another piece of the story from that specific view in the landscape, which you can see here. And so we've identified these specific areas. There will be an overlay of digital interpretation that you can access through a digital advice. There will be audio interpretation added, as well as, again, that physical kind of text that you're able to see.
From conservation point of view, it will be, if you allow me to go back, obviously quite a challenge to preserve that watch point, as it is not a structure of duration, and we are in discussion with our conservationists how we can deal with that. Is it important that it's the original materials, or is it maybe the right thing to, when it has deteriorated, to build it afresh from the same material, to have it in the right place and the way it was constructed and built back then. So our intervention would be away from that actual watch point, because we don't expect visitors to actually go into that watch point, but we created
that story to the forefront. And that's really what we wanted to do here with a more minimal interpretive element, so that it really is about that experience and your internal processing of what they were seeing and what was happening.
Next to the original watch point, we will have this.
Also, that it's the place that NATO bombed to come together with the people of Kosovo to push them back. There are some artifacts that still exist that we want to showcase here and give that orientation to people as they start to move through the entire museum. Now, the next large space is the story of resistance. This is the permanent exhibition. So in this space, it's the story of a family, it's the story of the Jashari family, and all of the families like them who contributed to the resistance all around Kosovo. It's a place for people to unpack the idea of resistance in the past, but also what that means as a continuous practice. You know, what it means to continue to celebrate that freedom and fight for it. We envision this as being really a focal point for this entire idea across the nation. So again, with the Jashari family, but really bringing it out and bringing together all of the different sites across the nation. With the artifacts that we think should be displayed here, we also would like to include audiovisual elements, a special exhibit for women's contributions to the resistance, and additional content as we uncovered during the research. Next, we're moving to the children's journey. Now, this is a special space for younger people to be able to process and unpack this story, which is a complex one, an emotional one. So this is really to help children to understand their history and again to be inspired by it. This is a place where young people can come with their families, where school groups can come, and also talks about children's role in the resistance, because there were many children who also contributed very much to what happened in those events. From the children's journey, we move into the oral histories archive. And we think that this is a very important space here. It's a small one, but there's a big opportunity to be able to collect the oral histories from the people who lived through these events. So this is a space where that can happen, either through audio recordings or video, to be able to collect them and have this archive that's available for perpetuity, you know, for people to research in the future. Different spaces have been transformed. So we have the ammunition factory that we've just talked about, the Museum of National Resistance. We have a dormitory for visiting researchers. We have the continuation of crafts building, a cafe, conference hall, where dignitaries can come, where talks and meetings can happen, where performances can happen as well. We also have space for workshops, security, bookshop, again, passing on the knowledge, cafes that are really celebrating the cuisine of Kosovo and the farmers who live around the memorial site, as well as space for children's programs, summer schools, guest house for scholars who are there to research, children's facilities for children's camps, and again, a restaurant. And I'll pass it back to you now, Thomas.
And also part of that ammunition factory complex is the former water tower, which then was, as we understand, used also as a watchtower by the Serbian